What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking to you about my personal arc build that I use a lot this season. I'm a really big fan of Chaos Reach right now, especially when it's Arc Surge. When it's not so great. I've been playing a lot of Titan this season. Arc Surge is what puts me on Warlock for the most part this season, so I thought I'd tell you what build I'm currently using for it. This build will allow you to stun all champions. It'll allow you to clear rooms pretty quickly, and it is just really nice to use, honestly. So yeah, let's just get into it. Of course, we're going to be using Chaos Reach as our super. It is the one good super on Arc Warlock. Not a big fan of Storm Trance. It's not good. Chaos Reach, though, slaps every time, especially when you're using Geomag Stabilizers, which were buffed this season to increase supercharge rate whenever you pick up an Ionic Trace. And we're pairing that with Coldheart, which makes Ionic Traces a lot. So, of course, we're going to use some aspects, those being Arc Souls for more damage. And then we're going to use Electrostatic Mine to make more Ionic Traces. Yeah, it's just that simple. Melee, I go Ball Lightning. Grenade, I just do Flashbang Grenades. But if you want to use Storm Grenades because you're in an activity that doesn't have champions or doesn't have overloads, go ahead. But Flashbangs and harder content are going to be better whether or not there's unstops because it blinds enemies that are in its radius, which means they can't, shoot at you. So let's talk about fragments. We're going to use Spark of Amplitude. So kills give more orbs because we're going to run an Arc Siphon also. Then Spark of Beacons. Special weapon kills create blinding explosions when you're amplified. You're going to be amplified a lot with this build. So, I mean, if you're using Coldheart, which is an arc special weapon, you explode things and you blind things, meaning they can't shoot at you, and they have an effect on them, meaning they make Ionic Traces with Electrostatic Mind. It all loops. And then Spark of Discharge, meaning kills make traces. Whenever you kill something with an arc weapon, it has a chance. And, Coldheart has a chance to do that. And killing blinded enemies or jolted enemies has a chance to do that. And Spark of Shock, so our grenades that already blind things also jolt them. So we're spreading so many arc status effects around the room and making so many Ionic Traces. We are constantly supercharging our Chaos Reach. Not just charging it, supercharging it. You're going to have this back so fast with this build. Please run this if you don't already. I know it's a pretty common arc build, but I know my audience doesn't necessarily watch everyone else. Hey, this build is great. If you have all the pieces to do this build, do it. It's super good, especially during Arc Surge. So let's get into the mods that are specific this season in the artifact. Of course, Elemental Orbs Arc. It's going to give you those Arc Elemental Orbs whenever, or you have a chance to make them whenever you get a kill with your Coldheart, which you should be getting a lot of those. If you're in content that has barrier champions, you could use bows or you could use auto rifles. It doesn't really matter. Use what you prefer in this case. But in the fourth slot, we're going to be running Elemental Fury. So stun champions take more damage from your abilities, which are very important in this build. You get them a lot. And Elemental Orbs, which you get pretty commonly. And then Communal Drops. So if an ally if an ally picks up your Elemental Orb, cooldown's reduced, which is pretty good. And you get bonus weapon damage for weapons that match your subclass. Coldheart? Yeah. And then refreshing pickups. Whenever you pick an Elemental Orb up, you get some energy. That's pretty nice. And we're going to use Elemental Munitions. We're using a Trace Rifle as our primary in this build, so we might as well make as much special ammo as we can. And I went Monochromatic Maestro because our primary being a special weapon, we want to up its damage a little bit. That way it's just chunking through everything as fast as possible because it does match our element. So we get that 10% boost that stacks with surges and things. So we're just going to be murdering every ad we see and blinding everything around it. So yeah, Monochromatic Maestro is not necessarily a thing you need, but it very much helps us build and helps you conserve ammo a little bit better. Talking about mods, like armor mods real quick. In your helmet, Harmonic Siphon is going to be the best bet. Arc Siphon costs more this season than it did last. Harmonic Siphon's there for you. It got you. Then, after that, Special Ammo Finder. And I also put on a Scout because if I'm in a group activity, the Finder and the Scout stack with Elemental Munitions, and you can make so much ammo for your allies. I was doing King's Fall a week or two ago. I think I have it recorded. I'm going to upload it at some point. But the amount of heavy ammo I was making during the Golgoroth encounter in the back of the room was ridiculous. Yeah, go ahead, Elemental Munitions with Special Ammo Finder, Special Ammo Scout, or Heavy, depending on what activity you guys are doing and what you need. Trust me, it works. It's really good. Arms, we're going to focus on our grenades making orbs of power whenever we get kills with them, because flashbangs aren't the greatest on damage, but they're not bad. Plus, they're jolting and blinding, so if we throw it into a group of enemies that's a little low on health, we're going to make orbs, and that's helpful. But other than that, arc loader, that way we can get Coldheart up more often. Chest piece, I'm a huge fan of emergency reinforcement, or whatever it's called. But I wouldn't suggest running reserves. You really don't need them with how much special ammo you'll get because of elemental munitions. But if you feel comfortable enough to not use resistance mods, you might grab a couple reserves. Leg mods though, elemental charge will be your best friend. You will have 3 armor charge at all times. You don't need charged up. You don't need to be hoarding them. You're just going to have a bunch of them all the time. So, run elemental charge and then fill out the rest with, and you could probably guess it, arc surges. And then your bond, it really doesn't matter too much. You could go with a classic like Reaper, time dilation. I don't suggest running time dilation, honestly, because you're making so many ionic traces that a longer cooldown on armor charge, it doesn't matter because it's refreshing completely faster than you're running out of it. So focus on things that will make your cooldowns quicker on your bond. Stats to worry about: resistance, recovery. Your ability sets really doesn't matter. I would hope that your discipline is high, and intellect could be high. You probably should be, but you're going to be getting your abilities really fast, so those really don't matter. Recovery is just a great stat, so is resistance. Pick those up for, not dying as much. And yeah, that's basically the build. You can use whatever kinetic weapon you want. I suggest using an auto rifle or a bow in that slot, and then your heavy, if it synergizes with your build, meaning it's arc, that's probably for the best, but I don't think it's super necessary. I think it just depends on how you could help your team. If you have a God Roll Hothead and you're running something and someone has a G-Horn on, that's probably as good as you can possibly get. So if you have that and that's the case, good for you. If not, don't stress too much. Okay, your main weapon is going to be your super. You're going to get Chaos Reach that often, I assure you. So yeah, that's basically today's build. A lot of other people are using it. A lot of people have covered this build. I just wanted to get this out there so you guys know what I'm using. What's keeping me playing Warlock this season when Titan's getting so many goodies. Anyways, yeah, that's about it for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out that pinned comment. I'll see you next time.